Do you ever pause to contemplate the veiled mysteries that an unassuming expanse of asphalt might conceal? Welcome, dear listeners, to a journey that will take you to a realm of enigma, tragedy, and haunting history, the infamous Highway of Tears. Located in the boundless, untamed wilderness of northern British Columbia, Canada, this seemingly ordinary stretch of Highway 16 holds tales that will chill you to the bone. An ordinary name, yes, but it obscures a chilling and tragic mystery. This vast pathway, surrounded by sprawling pine forests and jagged mountain peaks, has been branded with a sorrowful nickname, the Highway of Tears. This name was not given in jest or as a mere whim. Instead, it is the tragic result of endless devastating events that have occurred along this winding, desolate route. A road that hides within its bosom stories of loss, despair, and unfathomable horror. Stories that echo in the silence of the night, whispering tales of sorrow and fear. Stories that have given this stretch of highway a name that encapsulates a horrifying reality. The Highway of Tears is a notorious 724-kilometer section of road that has been a silent spectator to an appalling series of crimes. Crimes so shocking, they have left a community in despair and a nation in shock. The name Highway of Tears is derived from the tears that have been shed by the families and communities affected by a harrowing sequence of disappearances and murders that have spanned over several decades. This grim narrative has disproportionately affected Indigenous women and girls. Approximately 40% of the victims, according to estimates, belong to this demographic. These women and girls were not just statistics, they were someone's daughter, sister, mother, friend. Their lives were abruptly halted, leaving behind a trail of grief and a community in turmoil. Their pleas for justice reverberate across the barren landscape. Their cries of despair echo in the silence of the night. Despite tireless efforts, the majority of these cases remain largely unsolved. The perpetrators remain at large, their identities concealed within the shadows of obscurity. The pleas for justice from these devastated communities have been met with deafening silence. These disappearances and murders, some of which date back to the 1970s, have left an indelible mark on the Indigenous communities. They have created an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty that hangs over the area like a blanket of dense, ominous fog. This tale is not just about a highway shrouded in mystery. It is far more than that. It is a testament to the enduring plight of the Indigenous women and girls who fell victim to these heinous crimes. It serves as a poignant reminder of the desperate need for justice and resolution in these cases. As we deeper into the chilling enigma known as the Highway of Tears, it is vital to remember the faces behind the figures, the lives that were extinguished far too soon, the urgent, ongoing demand for answers and justice, the need to ensure that these tragic stories are not forgotten, but rather serve as a catalyst for change, the need to ensure that the tears that have been shed on this highway are not in vain, but instead inspire a collective effort towards achieving justice and closure. We embark on this journey not to sensationalize the horrors that have taken place on this highway, but to shine a light on them, to ensure that their stories are heard and their lives remembered, to ensure that the Highway of Tears is not just a name, but a call to action, a call to ensure that the tale of this highway is not just one of tears, but ultimately one of justice. This is not just a tale of a haunted highway, but a testament to the ongoing struggle of the Indigenous women and girls victimized by these horrific crimes. It's a poignant reminder of the urgent necessity for justice and resolution in these cases. So, as we delve deeper into the chilling enigma of the Highway of Tears, remember the faces behind the numbers, the lives lost too soon, and the urgent ongoing need for answers and justice. Our story begins in the late 1960s. The first known case linked to the Highway of Tears occurred in 1969 when Gloria Moody, a member of the Carrier Sakani Family Services, was found lifeless. This marked the chilling beginning of a trend that would continue for decades. The 70s brought more sorrow as more young women disappeared, their last known locations tied to this desolate highway. Michelin Pear in 1970, Gail Ways in 1973, and Monica Jack in 1978, all vanished without a trace. The 80s and 90s saw no respite. The list of victims grew, with names like Alberta Williams and Ramona Wilson joining the tragic roll call. Each case echoed the others: young women, predominantly Indigenous, mysteriously disappearing or found murdered along the Highway 16 corridor. In 2005, the RCMP launched Project Ipana to investigate these cases, acknowledging the sinister pattern that had emerged. Despite their efforts, the disappearances and murders continued into the new millennium. The most recent victim, Madison Scott, vanished in 2011, marking over 4 decades of unanswered questions and unending grief. Now, let's take a step back and reflect on what we've delved into. The Highway of Tears is more than just a stretch of road in British Columbia. It is a haunting testament to a series of tragic events that have predominantly impacted Indigenous communities. We've traced a timeline that spans over 4 decades, beginning in the late 60s and continuing into the present day. We've mourned the victims, women and girls whose lives were brutally cut short or who simply vanished, their fates unknown. The impact on Indigenous communities has been profound, with each disappearance or murder leaving a ripple of grief and fear. Despite the establishment of Project Ipana and the dedication of countless hours to investigations, many cases remain unsolved, the victims' families left waiting for answers and justice. In exploring the chilling mystery of the Highway of Tears, we've not only uncovered a dark chapter in Canadian history, but we've also shone a light on the ongoing struggle for justice for Indigenous women and girls. The Highway of Tears is a stark reminder of the work that remains to be done, the answers that are still sought, and the lives that continue to cry out for justice. The enigma of the Highway of Tears is a chilling reminder that not all mysteries are meant to entertain. Some exist to remind us of the very real, very human cost of violence and injustice. As we continue to seek answers, we remember the victims, honor their lives, and hope for a future where such tragedies are a thing of the past. Until then, the Highway of Tears continues to echo with the silent cries of its victims, a somber testament to a mystery that remains unsolved.